This particular story has a lot of twists and turns, so I'm going to do the best I can to try to give you guys what we know as far as factual information right now, and hopefully we can get some justice in this situation. But I'm telling you guys, you know, when there's smoke, there's usually fire, and I think you guys are probably going to be devastated with this story. But let me give you guys a quick disclaimer before we jump into it, because I don't want anybody to not understand what type of content I'm presenting. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Yes, indeed. Let me give a shout out to Kimberly Flower if she's out there listening or if she watches this at a later point. And I'd like to thank her for this shirt. And it says, "See something, say something." And if you guys watch her channel, she's an amazing person. Let me give you guys the information right here. The mother of missing North Carolina 6th grader, Madalina, told cops, or told police. I know Lee hates for me to say cops, but they actually typed this in here. This is from nypost.com, so thank you for the article. So let me rephrase. 6th grader Madalina told police she believed the mother believed her husband put her family in danger and that he fled their home after a fight the night that she last saw her daughter, according to court documents. The startling accusations emerged Wednesday as police descended again to search the family's home in Cornelius, where officers previously found an area that was blocked off with plywood inside the house, which is very, very odd. It also came as FBI and local police released a handwritten statement from the 11-year-old schoolgirl's family saying that they were devastated and absolutely heartbroken and desperate to find her. "We love Madalina and are shocked by these circumstances. This is something no child or family should ever have to endure," the letter said of the beautiful, smart, kind, loving 11-year-old girl with greatness in her future. The family did not identify who was behind the statement. Madalina's mother, Madalina Cojocari, excuse me, Cojocari, that's a very difficult name for me to pronounce, 37 years old, stepfather, right here that you see on my screen, Christopher Palmitter, 60 years old. Both of them have been charged with failing to report her missing for at least 22 days. They failed to report her missing for 22 days. Huge red flag. And that alone should probably get you, I don't know how many years in prison you should get just for that alone, but let's keep going. During police interviews, Cojocari told detectives that on November 23rd, the same night she last saw her daughter, she argued with her husband, according to an affidavit obtained by Queen City News. Palmitter, the boyfriend, then drove off to be with family in Michigan, with at least 550 miles and a 9-hour trip from their North Carolina home. The mom says she saw her daughter going to her room at 10 p.m. that night, the report said, without elaborating on whether it was before or after Palmitter had left and the fight ended. I will let you guys take a guess as to which one it was, because I can tell you it was probably the mom says she last saw her daughter go to her room at 10 p.m. the night of that night, without elaborating on whether it was before or after Palmitter had left. So I think that he might have taken this girl. I don't know. It was more than 12 hours later on Thanksgiving morning, sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied, that she realized her daughter was not home, she reportedly told police. She waited 3 days before telling Palmitter that his stepdaughter was missing. Does that not sound like BS to y'all? She said she waited 3 days before telling her boyfriend that his stepdaughter is missing, and weeks more before admitting that Madalina's school that she did not know where the 6th grader was. I think they both knew where she was, in my opinion. When questioned, the mom told a detective that she believed her husband put her family in danger. Cojocari did, and that she delayed reporting her daughter missing over fears it would damage her marriage. Let me read that again because I kind of messed it up. When questioned, the mother told a detective that she believed her husband put her family in danger and that she delayed reporting her daughter missing. She delayed reporting her daughter missing. Let me say that again. In her own words, she delayed reporting that her daughter was missing because she thought it would mess her marriage up. That sounds like she cared more about her marriage than her own flesh and blood. Isn't that what it sounds like to y'all? Because that's what it sounds like to me. The affidavit did not elaborate on why she felt in danger or if it was directly related to Madalina's disappearance. The mom also admitted ignoring pleas from relatives in her native Moldova to call the police, the report said, without stating if it was to report her husband, her daughter, her missing daughter, or both. Despite her claims, Cojocari insisted in police interviews that she had no idea where her daughter was, stressing that she had no friends or family in the area and that she might be staying or who she might be staying with. Earlier this week, the FBI released a video footage of Madalina getting off a school bus on November the 21st, stressing that it was the last confirmed sighting of her 2 days before her mom claims that she last saw her. The FBI said it hoped that the video would spark witnesses outside of the family who could narrow down the exact timeline of when she actually disappeared. Local police have also asked locals to flood the area with photos showing her precious face. So let me give you guys the fair usage and I'll show you the videos that we have. Here we go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys would do us a favor, we want to have at least one thumb up for every person that's watching this video. So if you will, hit that thumbs up. It only takes a moment, okay? Here we go. Let's get it.
Turning now to this, some new details we're getting in the case of the missing 11-year-old girl from Cornelius. Madalina Cojocari, a big police presence tonight at Madalina's home. Investigators on scene with what appeared to be evidence collection underway. We saw the crime scene van there. We saw an officer with a camera at one point leaving the home. Our crews have been there for hours too, gathering the latest. So with that, we want to get over to WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker, who is joining us live with the details that he's been gathering throughout the evening. So what does it look like at the home right now, Austin?
Yeah, it's wrapped up right now, Vanessa, but it was a very busy night outside of Madalina Cojocari's home earlier tonight. Again, a lot of investigators moving in and out of the home. Neighbors say they haven't seen this much commotion at the home in a few days. And tonight, as we're heading into the later hours, we are learning a lot more about her mother.
WCNC Charlotte obtained these court documents Wednesday. They say Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, told detectives she believed her husband put her family in danger, but did not know what happened to Madalina. She says she also contacted her family in the Eastern European country of Moldova, who told her to call the police, but was hesitant to call. Diana says Madalina's backpack and some clothes were missing from their home, but also says her daughter wouldn't have any friends or family to stay with. Court documents also reveal while police were searching the home on Friday night, they noticed a piece of plywood blocking the kitchen. When detectives asked about it, Madalina's stepfather, Christopher Palmer, says they were going to make a separate apartment. However, we found no active permits for the home. We are also learning Palmer used to live in Grand Ledge, Michigan. The police chief confirming with WCNC Charlotte, FBI agents were trying to talk to Palmer's family and working with the Cornelius Police Department. As night falls Wednesday, a big police presence outside Madalina's home, a dozen investigators going in and out of the home. You can see this video right here, a blue storage bin being taken out of the home and placed in a crime scene van. Throughout the night, flashes from inside the home through the upper left window.
Again, things wrapped up about a few hours ago, and again, a lot of questions still left unanswered. Vanessa?
Austin, thanks for that information from the scene. We know you also spent a lot of time at...
Switching gears now, Cornelius Police releasing a personal message from the family of missing 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. In the letter, the family thanked police and the community for their continued efforts in the search for Madalina. They say they are devastated and heartbroken, but continue to have hope that she will be found very soon. The family went on to describe Madalina as a beautiful and smart girl. They asked that if you have any information on her whereabouts to please contact the Cornelius Police Department. And today, we could get our hands on a new search warrant providing more details on the search for the 11-year-old. Police now stepping up their investigation with dozens of detectives showing up at the family's home last night. Police walking out with at least one bit of evidence that our crew there on scene could tell. Now, new documents say Madalina's mother believed her husband was putting their family in danger.
Investigators working around the clock to figure out where a missing Cornelius girl went. Court documents now show Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, was encouraged by family in Eastern Europe to call police as soon as the 11-year-old went missing. But she didn't end up talking to officials until 3 weeks after her daughter disappeared. Now we're learning Diana says Madalina's backpack and clothes were also missing from their home. All this as police in Michigan tell WCNC Charlotte they're looking to talk to Christopher Palmer's family in the town of Grand Ledge, just outside of Lansing. The FBI field office in Detroit assisting with this investigation. Back in Cornelius, investigators going in and out of the home Wednesday night as police piece together evidence in the ongoing case.
And a lot still developing as we learn more about what happened to Madalina Cojocari. Make sure you have the WCNC.
It's a nice neighborhood. I never would have thought that.
People would describe this Cornelius neighborhood as a quiet one until recently.
Yesterday there was all the commotion we had. There must have been, 40, people out there.
Friday night, police searching for 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari and investigating her home for evidence. Early Saturday morning, Cornelius police arresting Christopher Palmer, her stepfather, for failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. Just hours later at 10:15 a.m., her mother, Diana Cojocari, also taken into custody.
It's very concerning that something like this could happen, that it was so close to us.
Neighbors puzzled by the news, some telling us the family kept to themselves.
Well, I would assume that they are suspects.
Quentin Williams, former FBI agent and investigator, says the timeline of events isn't adding up. Madalina was last seen on November 23rd, but weeks later was reported missing to the school on December 15th, 22 days later.
You would assume that the district would ask after a few days because they send notes home. And now in the digital age, we all get emails when our kids are out of school for one day. So the parents knew immediately that the child was not in school.
Leading him to believe the reason for both arrests on Saturday.
They didn't report it.
We spoke to a dozen neighbors who tell WCNC Charlotte they noticed burning in their backyard at all hours starting on November 27th, including Saturday morning, just hours before her mother was taken into custody. Today, neighbors still left heartbroken by the news.
I hope that, she's run away or something and comes back.
And questions start having answers.
All you can do is hope and pray.
Guys, I'm telling you, that's not a mother to sit there and let days, weeks, or even hours go by without reporting your child missing. Y'all remember, I recently went off in a story about a parent that didn't call police within 1 hour of their child missing. So if I will go off on that, how do you think I feel about a child that's been missing for days? Days before you say anything. No freaking way. And I think that they should be facing a mandatory 50 years in prison just for that alone. Just for that alone. Because you knew she was missing. You didn't say anything. That makes me believe that y'all probably colluded. Like there was some collusion going on, right? Here's the last known video of her on the bus. I'll show you this a couple of times so you guys can see her face. Right there. Right there. That's her. That is so sad, man. That is so sad that her own parents didn't give a crap about her. Look at this. One more time. So you guys make sure and spread this image. That's her right there. That's the last time that they believed that she was seen in public. Right there. There it is. So make sure you guys screenshot that, save it, share it, send it out to people, post it in groups so everybody knows. Can you go to jail for failing to report your child missing? Yes, you can. Absolutely. That's why they're arrested right now.
As you can imagine here, this is just the latest of so many developments in this case, the timeline of Madalina's case.
We just have to pray that they can find her alive. At the rate we're going, because I believe that mom's boyfriend or husband, whatever you want to call it, and mom, I think they're both lying. I think that something more sinister probably happened. Y'all know how these stories go on my channel. I just believe that there's probably a lot more sinister stuff going on. The outcome does not look good, so we're probably going to be searching for a body rather than an alive 11-year-old girl. I just really, really fear that.
Stretches for weeks, and there are so many twists and turns to follow. So we want to highlight some of the big ones that we know thus far. We're going to take you back to November 21st. So keep in mind that was 1 month ago today. This is the last time Madalina was documented at school. A school counselor telling authorities that, and we've showed you this before, this video the FBI released. It shows her on the school bus that afternoon. So that is the 21st. And so going from there, the next few days are convoluted based on reports we're getting from both the girl's mother and her stepfather. Through an arrest report, we are seeing the mother telling police, so Diana Cojocari telling police she last saw her daughter around noon on the 22nd. But then in that same arrest report, we see her changing her story with police, saying it was actually around 10 p.m. on the 23rd when she went to bed. Now, the night of the 23rd is also when the stepfather, Christopher Palmeter, says that he drove to Michigan. We heard Austin reference Michigan and how he has some relatives there, we believe. WCNC Charlotte received this video from Michigan. So this is where Palmeter is believed to have lived at one point in Grand Ledge. The police chief there, as Austin told us, confirming FBI agents were there trying to talk to Palmeter's family. And so now, while Palmeter said that he went out of state on the 23rd, Diana says a different thing. She says it was actually the 24th. And
there are ways that they can find out if he actually went to Michigan and where he was. They could either find it by way of a cell phone, location through apps. Maybe, I'm assuming he probably had to stop at a gas station, surveillance cameras. Family could absolutely speak up and say something. I would hope that there are some good people in Michigan, especially that family, that would speak up and say what they saw. Was he there? You know, give us some type of information. We got to hope that the family is going to cooperate.
Later that morning is when she says she noticed her daughter wasn't in her room. On the 26th is when Palmeter says he returned from Michigan. He ended up asking Diana where Madalina was, both of them accusing the other of hiding her, but neither reported her missing. And it's not until more than 2 weeks later that others get involved. On December 12th, that's when a Bailey Middle School resource officer and school counselor visit the family's home because they haven't seen Madalina in school in 3 weeks. Now, on that day, they are unable to reach the family, so they leave some information at the home. But finally, they are able on the 15th to get Diana to come to the school. She arrives without her daughter, though. That's when she tells the school that she hadn't seen Madalina in weeks. So this is the day that she is officially reported as missing. So, of course, an ongoing story. We do have an interactive timeline, including this information we just shared, plus what has happened in the investigation since. That's on our website, WCNC.com.
Yeah, make sure you guys check that website out, and you guys can kind of see for yourself as far as how a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. But I'm glad that they went ahead and arrested the mom and the stepdad. This little girl is somewhere, and I think that dad knows where she is. I think mom knows too. But I hope that we find her, and I hope that we find her soon. And I hope that we can put a conclusion to the story really quickly. We just got to keep her prayer hands up and just hope that she's still alive. So for now, we're going to pray and hope that Madalina, young princess, is still alive. Y'all keep her prayer hands up in the chat. Share this story because everybody needs to be seeing this. Before we start to spread celebrity news and gossip and all kind of silly stuff like that, how about we share stories that matter? How about we get 1 million hits on her video? Anybody that's talking about her story, share those videos. Get millions of eyes on that because I believe that it matters. Share these missing baby stories. We got too many of our kids missing and nobody seems to care. But please remember that. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.